Okay, Joe. I watched a 3-hour movie and we're recording our episode. Just remember our deal.
What deal? We put movies on a list. Watch them, then talk about them. What's the deal?
You know what I'm talking about.
Fine. The next time you're meeting me somewhere and my friend Bernard is there, I have to say hello to my little friend.
Thank you. Yes, that's the deal.
You're so weird. Welcome to Does This Still Work? The podcast looks at movies and asks, does this still work? I'm Joe Dixon.
And I'm George Romaca. And today we're discussing Scarface from 1983 and some historical context. First, podcasty stuff. We're excited to announce that we've joined the Creator Accountability Network. CAN is a nonprofit dedicated to reducing harassment and abuse through ethical education and a system of restorative accountability. We joined because we care about the safety and well-being of our community members. If you feel our behavior or content has harmed someone, please report it to CAN, either via the reporting form on their website, creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org, or via their hotline at 617-249-4255. They'll help us make it right and avoid repeating that mistake in the future. CAN also needs volunteers from our communities to help with their work, so if you have skills you think would be helpful, or time and a desire to help, please visit their website to find out how you can volunteer. Most importantly, get the word out to other creators who you think would be interested in getting credentialed. Help us build safer communities together. You can reach us at dtswpod@gmail.com on Facebook, Letterboxd, and on our YouTube channel. And Joe is on Blue Sky at joedixon.bsky.social. And Joe is officially a published author.
I am a published author. Self-published, but it's still published.
Yep.
The book is called Dead Boy Roy. It's about a young lady who travels to Venus to visit a friend, a guy, who offers her a job, and when she gets there, he's dead. And there is a mystery behind the whole thing. It's a straight-up comedy. So I hope you all enjoy it. Please buy it. Oh, but I did want to share this with all of you. Now, so if you are not someone who's ever done this, you might be curious, well, how does one get paid on this sort of thing? So Amazon... So I did this in August, right? So according to Amazon, if anyone buys this thing and if I get any money, it won't come until the end of, can you guess, George?
2029.
Bring it up a little bit from there. Think of a month rather than a year.
December.
Close. October. End of October is when I will see if I get paid anything. That's when the money will come in. So I guess it's every 2 months. Because let's see. So August is October, as I said. September, I get money in November. October, it comes in December. November, it comes in January. And for December, it comes in February.
So if you wrote another book and released it in on the off month, would you have money coming in every month, alternating from between books?
If I get it done in time, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it was that or if they have a set schedule of they send the money out every 2 months, no matter when you publish it.
No, it's whenever you publish it, it's every 2 months, yeah. That's what, as I understand, it says payment schedule, so that's it, yeah. Just so everyone knows, the exciting world I live in. So when I see anything, at least Jackie, my friend Jackie said she bought a copy.
I was about to, but it doesn't. The link that you sent in the email doesn't open the Amazon app. It opens it in a browser, and it's sign in, and I'm like, fucking what?
Oh.
I haven't had to sign into Amazon in 2 years.
I guess you have to go straight to Amazon, look at books, and then.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. But I will buy a copy of your book, the paperback copy, because I need you to sign it so it can be worth something someday.
Oh yeah, it will really be worth something. That's enough about my stupid book. Let's continue the intro.
All right. Please tell your friends about us, even your surprise brother-in-law, and leave 5-star ratings everywhere. You can pick what we watch and get extra per episode content by funding us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/DTSWpod.
Now, George, take us back to 1983.
And this is the way it was.
This film is not a documentary. However, it starts off seeming like it wants to be one. The opening title card leads into a Fidel Castro speech and reads as follows. In May 1980, Fidel Castro opened the harbor at Mariel, Cuba, with the apparent intention of letting some of his people join their relatives in the United States. Within 72 hours, 3,000 U.S. boats were headed for Cuba. It soon became evident that Castro was forcing the boat owners to carry back with them not only their relatives, but the dregs of his jails. Of the 125,000 refugees that landed in Florida, an estimated 25,000 had criminal records. That seems like a hell of a thing to put on a screen when the boatlift happened only 3 years before the movie came out.
Yes.
Out of what must have been a forward-thinking sense of civic responsibility, the filmmakers added a title card reading as follows. Scarface is a fictional account of the activities of a small group of ruthless criminals. The characters do not represent the Cuban/American community, and it would be erroneous and unfair to suggest that they do. The vast majority of Cuban Americans have demonstrated a dedication, vitality, and enterprise that has enriched the American scene. Joe, where in the film did they put that disclaimer?
They very helpfully put it at the very end of the film, after the credits.
After the credits of a 3-hour movie, they put this disclaimer as if anybody was going to see it.
Maybe they were thinking ahead, like how Marvel does it. You know, they put the... they put a little extra scene at the end there.
Well, let's be clear about something. Even though the Mariel boatlift was real, and even though 125,000 Cubans and 25,000 Haitians arrived that way, the claim of 25,000 having criminal records that is then followed by what happens in this movie is deceptive to say the least. Even if the number with criminal records was that high, they were coming from a country where it was criminal to not agree with Fidel Castro. It was criminal to be gay. There were maybe 2,700 actual hardened criminals, and at least a third of those were immediately sent back to Cuba.
This is also during the AIDS crisis, so Cuba was putting some of their people, gay or not, in camps if they had AIDS. Something certain elements of the New York, maybe New York as well, certain elements of the U.S. government also suggested, but fortunately we never did, because at least sometimes we do pay attention to our Constitution.
Yep. In the Oliver Stone experience, Stone says, well, Tony Montana was a gangster. His mother and his sister represent the clean-cut Cuban community. His mother scolds him. You're a scumbag. Get out of my house. You're ruining your sister. So there is strong morality in the movie. I knew about the criticisms even in advance that Cubans were not like that. But I'm sorry, a lot of Cubans did become Marioletos. If I'd done it about Colombians, they'd have said the same thing. You're anti-Colombian. Summed up, his take is, well, stereotypes are stereotypes for reasons.
Thank you, Oliver.
Yeah, asshole. So we have him admitting that he knew this would piss off a bunch of Cubans, and as if to drive that point home, we have this bit of trivia. A majority of the film was shot in Los Angeles, California, standing in for Miami, Florida. This was done because production would have been endangered by protests from angry Cuban-Americans over the film's reported subject matter. Streets and buildings used for the shooting were redressed by the art directors to have the feel of Miami.
You know, what's curious, and there's a lot of things curious about this picture, but one curious thing about it is that, if I'm not mistaken, before Al Pacino did this film, he did another film called Cruising, which got riled up the gay community because it showed, it was about a serial killer, it's based on, again, like in this movie, based on real events, a serial killer who was killing gay people, and the gay community was very sick because the way they were showing gays in the picture were like not a great representation. I mean, I never seen the film, so I can't really tell you. And some people have looked back on it and go like, actually, this is not bad. But other gay people are like, no, it's horrible. So
okay, that description feels like it belongs on our list somewhere.
We can say cruising, sure. Here's
all right.
Cruising, and you can find this clip if you haven't seen it already and just didn't know what it was. There was a clip floating around. I didn't know what it was until I researched it. What is this? There was a clip of Al Pacino in an interrogation room, and a black man walked into the interrogation room wearing a jock strap and hits him. I think he was wearing a cowboy hat. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm not making that up. That's a real thing. Someone must have also seen it. So I don't know. It's I've never seen the movie. I can't comment on it. I know of it. I know the controversy around it. I saw two guys discuss it because I watch a lot of film review shows. Mm-hmm. Both of them were gay, and they thought, well, we liked it. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, that's what I'm just thinking of there. It's essentially Al Pacino mentions either back-to-back or close to back-to-back. Make two films that riled up different communities.
Huh.
Poor Al. Couldn't catch a break.
Yep. Okay, Joe. Let's talk about Scarface.
Before we do, this film was based on the 1932 movie Scarface. In that movie, Paul Muni was an Italian immigrant running amok. In real life, Paul Muni was an ethnically Jewish person. And back then, they made no effort to be nice to immigrants. George, read the title cards used in the original Scarface, which opened the picture.
Okay. This picture is an indictment of gang rule in America and of the callous indifference of the government to this constantly increasing menace to our safety and our liberty. Every incident in this picture is the reproduction of an actual occurrence, and the purpose of this picture is to demand of the government, what are you going to do about it? The government is your government. What are you going to do about it?
Now, and I do recommend people see the 1932 this thing, because it's a real banger, and I don't necessarily mean that in a good way. Just a quick aside. I mean, a lot of the stuff you see in this picture is in that movie, except, it's 1932, so they only go just so far. But the suggestion that he's into his sister is in that movie. Weirdly, in that film, the cops are after him at the end, but it's for killing who's the Manny character in that movie. But the thing is, his sister comes over to the house to help him get in the shootout with the cops. Which is insane. And there are points in the film which are extreme. I mean, it's 1932, so I don't get all the racism, but there are some parts of it. They're going, hey, I can't do this. I'm going to get this. It's amazing. I need to love my mom. Like, oh my God. They really do it. And especially since none of them are Italian, it makes it even worse.
Wow.
But here's the thing that I really love about the film. Whatever we may think of this film, in 1932, they have a character straight up saying, we need martial law and mass deportations to take care of these people. So, whatever you may think of this one, 1932 actually may have been worse.
Well, at least in this movie, they're talking about deporting actual criminals. The people saying those things today are just pointing at skin colors.
Right, no, but I'm talking about 1932, though.
Right, they had in that movie. At least they had something of a non-racial reason for they're all Italian, but also they're all mobsters.
I don't know. It struck me as very fascist. Anyway, let's get into this film from 1983.
Sure.
This was directed by Brian De Palma. And I've seen his work in The Untouchables, Carrie, the 1976 version, and Greetings.
And I've seen his work in the 1996 Mission Impossible.
And this is written by Oliver Stone. And I've seen his work in The Untold History of the United States, Natural Born Killers, JFK, Platoon, Salvador, and Midnight Express.
And I've seen his work in Evita. He did the screenplay. The music and lyrics were still by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice.
Right. And you know what, George? Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Mm-hmm. For I am
Don't
ordinary.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. You're supposed to be immortal. That's all they wanted. That much you ask for. That's all I know.
But in the end, you could not deliver. Wait.
You keep your distance. I kept my promise. You keep your...
Sorry, I was going into a different song that has the same melody of it in the thing.
I just know from the ads, I've never seen this thing.
You should. It's a good musical.
Okay. Blurbs. IMDb says, in the 1980s, a determined, criminal-minded Cuban immigrant becomes the biggest drug smuggler in Miami and is eventually undone by his own drug addiction.
And paranoia. I would say and paranoia.
Well, the paranoia is caused by the drug addiction.
It's exacerbated by... I think it's exacerbated by the drugs. I don't think it's caused by the drugs. I think it was paranoid to begin with.
YouTube says, in the spring of 1980, the port of Mariel Harbor was open and thousands set sail for the United States. They came in search of the American dream. One of them found it on the sun-washed avenues of Miami. Wealth, power, and passion beyond his wildest dreams. He was Tony Montana. The world will remember him by another name, Scarface.
Pause there for a second. Only once is he referred to as Scarface, and I think it's in Spanish. So, other than the fact that the movie is titled that, I don't see any reason, because I actually know him as Tony Montana, not Scarface.
And in the original film, he's also just called Antonio, and they call him Tony, yeah. But he's not named Scarface there. He has a scar on his face, and that's it.
Yeah.
All right, so starring Al Pacino as Tony Montana, along with Michelle Pfeiffer, Stephen Bauer, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, and Robert Loggia. Scarface has become a cultural phenomenon, brilliantly directed by Brian De Palma and written by Oliver Stone. I guess he didn't brilliantly write it. Or is that brilliantly for both of them? Brilliantly directed by Brian De Palma and written by Oliver Stone. No, I don't think he gets the brilliant name.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think he's attributing more brilliance to the director than the writer here.
All right, characters. Tony Montana, of course, is played by Al Pacino, as we just said. And for the podcast, we've seen him in A Dog Day Afternoon. And both George and I have seen him in Dick Tracy. I have seen him in Serpico, The Irishman, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Heat. You know, other than Serpico, I think Serpico is the only film I've seen him in where he's actually the absolute good guy.
And I put it on the list when I saw it here, because we've talked about it a bunch of times.
Okay.
And I've seen him in Scent of a Woman, The Devil's Advocate, and Simone.
Elvira is played by Michelle Pfeiffer. And apparently we've never seen any of her movies for the podcast. I'm surprised about that. But we've both seen her in Avengers Endgame, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and Batman Returns. And for myself, I've seen her in The Witches of Eastwick and Wolf.
And I've heard her in The Prince of Egypt.
Manny is played by Stephen Bauer. And this is his second film. And for the podcast, we've seen him in Gleaming the Cube. Gina is played by Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. This is also her second film. And I've seen her in The Color of Money.
And I've seen her in The Abyss, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and The Perfect Storm.
Frank is played by Robert Loggia. And we've seen him in the podcast in Independence Day and in Officer and a Gentleman. And on my own, I've seen him in Lost Highway, Prince's Honor, and Revenge of the Pink Panther.
And I've seen him in Big.
Would you believe that's one of those films, that's one of those huge films I just never saw? I've never seen Big. Anyway.
That's like recipe to put it on the list.
I think Jude, we're going into practically 2028 if we keep putting things on the list as we go along here.
No, we're barely cracking 2027 right now.
All right. Tony Montana and his friend Manny are hardened convicts released from a Cuban prison because Castro came up with the idea of getting rid of troublemakers by letting them go to the States. Now, I'm using troublemakers as opposed to criminals because I don't want to give the impression that every person released from those jails had actually committed crimes by any standard of justice, as George has already pointed out. I mean, Nelson Mandela was once in jail. Martin Luther King was once in jail.
Mm-hmm.
But in the case of Tony and Manny, they really are criminals. Now, if you don't know, way back in 1966, Congress passed the Cuban Adjustment Act that allowed, on an expedited basis, Cubans to get U.S. citizenship. This was a Cold War FU to the Soviet Union, which was a supporter of the communist Cuban government. That law led to the 1980 Mariel boatlift, which opens this movie. While held in a camp for refugees, Tony and Manny get a gig to kill a guy. They do, and that murder gets them in the good graces of Miami crime lord Frank Lopez. While at Frank's house, Tony blatantly eye-fucks Frank's wife Elvira. How the scene doesn't end with, "What the fuck? This is my home. This is my wife. Bang, bang, bang." I don't know, but it doesn't. Tony's next job is to travel with Frank's right-hand man to do a deal in Bolivia. Tony oversteps his job duties and makes an unauthorized deal with a cocaine kingpin. The kingpin likes this and kills the guy Tony is supposed to be there to assist. When he returns to Miami, Frank is pissed, but doesn't shoot Tony in the head the moment he enters his office. Instead, he lets him work independently. Then, when Tony has amassed a certain level of power, that's when he decides to put a hit on him. This backfires, ending with Frank dead. Tony then takes over Frank's drug empire and gets to marry Elvira. George, quick question. Did that marriage proposal come out of nowhere? Because it did for me.
The acceptance of that marriage proposal comes out of nowhere. From moment one, as you've pointed out, he had been salivating over her and made a number of, entreaties to have her leave Frank for him.
Yeah, for sure. But
and at no point, at no point did she seem even mildly interested in him until Frank is dead. And then I guess she's like, well, fuck, where am I going to get my cocaine from?
I'm just a piece of property. Sure. Okay. I'll just go with you now. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the summary. Tony and Elvira eventually do what they aren't supposed to do, get high on their own supply. Literally, they become cokeheads. This doesn't stop anyone from working with Tony, however, but it does make him sloppy, and this leads to the feds busting him on tax evasion.
Mm-hmm.
The Bolivian drug lord offers to help Tony out of this situation if he offers a journalist for him. That job assignment goes really wrong when Tony murders the guy hired to blow up the journalist because Tony doesn't like bombing women and children.
I had this weird thought at that part of the movie, like, kind of like Leon the Professional.
Oh, sure. But yes, Tony doesn't like blowing up women and children, which means he couldn't work for the Trump administration.
Mm-hmm.
Needless to say, this does not go down well with his employers. Meanwhile, back in Miami, Tony finds out Manny has married Gina. He rewards the newlyweds by shooting Manny, which has got to be the worst wedding gift ever.
Yeah. I remember when Kit and I got married and you shot me right afterward. That was terrible.
It was an accident. I meant to shoot her because I wanted you for myself. I'm bad with guns. What can I say?
You're not. You're not the worst. You hit the paper the one time you fired a gun.
It's true. Kidnapping Gina, Tony returns back to his mansion. Presumably, Elvira has left him because she is not there. In fact, she disappears from the entire movie at this point.
Yep.
Who is there are a lot of guys with guns hired to kill Tony. Tony also has lots of guns around the house. Gina gets one of those guns and manages to wound Tony. But before she can kill him, the assassins assassinate her. Why? Why not let her finish the job? Because the script says so. That's why.
I think the better answer for that is because the assassins don't know what the fuck is happening in that house.
They don't, but why not? She's shooting him. Let her keep shooting him. Why did he feel the need to shoot?
Because she doesn't, they're not watching this unfold. All they're hearing is gunshots. So they're assuming they're being shot at.
But he sees, well, I don't know. I guess you can interpret that way. Anyway, the movie ends with Tony being shot dead by a guy wearing shades at night.
Mm-hmm. For
some reason. I know there are eye protection glasses for when you fire a weapon, but I don't think Ray-Ban makes them. Anyway, then, George, I left out a lot. Would you like to add anything?
So, in that last scene, Gina, who has just watched her brother murder her new husband, who was his best friend, enters the room and then starts an incest porn plot line up. And I actually was surprised that Tony Montana wasn't going for it. Like, I kind of expected if she did that he was going to be like, oh, finally. Because, I mean, his entire behavior up to that point has been very possessive of his sister, very physically possessive of his sister. So, like, I thought at some point, like, he does kind of want to strip his sister. But when she's kind of offering it to him, and he's coked out of his head, so not thinking straight, he's like, but you're my sister. That's fucking weird. What's going on? And then she shoots him, because he's not falling for it.
Yeah, well, yeah. You also see that she's pointing a gun at him, so he may have as coked up as he is.
But she wasn't pointing a gun at him right away.
Are you sure?
Yes, she enters the room and she's like touching her chest and moving her shoulder.
Want, Tony?
Is this what you want? Do you want to fuck me, Tony? And like he's like, huh? And and it's because he's not reacting like she expected him to, that she pulls the trigger on shooting him sooner. She's like, oh, fuck me, Tony.
All right, shall we get into the discussion, my friend?
Sure.
You started this time.
Okay. Joe, you've seen this movie and the original Scarface from 1932. How do they compare?
As I mentioned earlier, they pretty much cover many of the same beats, except the 1932 version is a bit cleaner, although it's pre-code. You do know what the Hays Code is, right?
I do know what the Hays Code is.
Right.
Was the 1932 one also 3 hours long?
No, it was 90 minutes.
Fuck, we should watch that one.
It was a quick 90 minutes. And the cops get their men. The cops are not corrupt in that version. They're good, upstanding people. As I said, there is a scene where a newspaper publisher calls for a martial law to get these damn dirty criminals. And a lot of fash. But the incest stuff is there. The mama talking like a this is also in there. It's got a lot of the same beats. Well, we'll get into whether either one worked. But I would certainly recommend people see it, if only because they're like, oh, so this is what acting looked like back then. Man, it ain't good. They are so clearly acting, and they're so going out of the way to make sure the cops are good. Don't blame the police. Don't blame the police. I mean, they straight up say it in the movie.
All right. Is this movie in brownface?
Technically, no, by the definition of black and brown face. However, come on. I mean,
did you have
really?
an Italian playing a Cuban, and technically Italians are brown?
No, I mean, technically, he didn't put on brown face. It's sort of tan, but still, come on. And he's doing that accent. And what? There are no Cuban actors? Honestly. And yes, there are. In fact, honestly, they didn't even have to darken him up because there are white Cubans. They could have just played it that way. But no, they had to darken him suddenly. No, I think it's brown face enough for me.
It's brown face enough to say, if you're asking the question, it's probably brown face.
I think that's a good way to put it, yes.
This is another popular movie from the past that you skipped. Do you remember why?
Don't remember why. I know it didn't interest me particularly. I hadn't seen the original at the time, and I think I confused it with another, because I think when we talked about this previously, when we were introducing this film, that we say, hey, this is what's coming up. I think I said Edward G. Robinson was in it, because I was thinking of another film entirely, but another gangster picture. So I may have confused it. But yeah, I just, for whatever reason, it didn't interest me. But boy, did a lot of the guys my age want to see this picture. Mm-hmm. My age at that time. It's 15, I guess.
Did you find yourself rooting for Tony, or just waiting for his inevitable downfall? Or, put another way, did you give one single fuck about any character in this movie?
I gave not a single fuck about any character in this movie. To tell you the truth, I'm not even really sure what the point of this movie was, except to like, hey, let's do a remake of this. I have no doubt Brian De Palma probably saw this as a kid or as a young filmmaker and said, wow, I would love to do my version of this picture.
Let me get Oliver Stone to write it.
Let me get Oliver Stone to write it, sure. Maybe Oliver Stone also saw it and said, hey, I too want to revisit this picture. Either way.
I want to be more racist about it.
Either way, this is definitely hey, I'm a filmmaker and this is my passion type project, but I don't know why I should care about this character at all. I don't think it's written to be cared about. they have that whole weird thing when Michelle Pfeiffer and Al Pacino have the fight at the restaurant, and they talk about we can't have children because they're both losers, which I think is the closest the film comes to denouncing him. But overall, the film kind of glamorizes him. Certainly people. Let me put it this way: in the same way that it's hard to make an anti-war movie because things blow up and young men like to watch things blow up, it's hard to make an anti-drug lord movie when the guy's living in opulence and has all these big houses and cars and everything. People the youth are still turned on by it.
I'm putting Blow on the list.
I saw Blow.
Oh. If I remember correctly, it was a good movie. But I also think that now having seen this one, I would love to watch it again.
Visit, sure. That's the whole idea. There's no concept behind this podcast. But no, was not. Well, I knew he was going to do his downfall, so there was really wasn't really waiting for it. I knew it was inevitable because I know how the film ends. And of course, there's the most famous line in the film. It's "Say hello to my little friend" when he starts shooting up the place. So yeah.
Excuse me. It's "Say hello to my little friend." Why do you think Tony Montana became such a definitive icon for so many men of your generation?
I think it is a hip-hop thing. I think people... I don't know. See, I'm so out of the music scene, so I don't even know. But at least at the time when hip-hop was coming around, it was like, hey, look at all the money I got. Look at all the money. Oh, I got this money. I got all the bitches and the money. I got the bitches and the money. And everybody's like, hey, he's got bitches and money. And even the young women are like, hey, he's got the bitches and the money. Everyone was very enamored by all this. I was not. Maybe that's why I didn't go see it, because I think, gross.
There's a lot of T-shirts with this guy's face on it.
And yeah, tons of them. Yeah, a lot of young men looked at this and said, wow, that's cool.
In fact, the Guardian had an article from somebody that was in the United States, but they were talking about it was a Cuban writer, and she's talking about how this was kind of a fuck you to Cuban people, but she was hopeful because she was starting to see at the time that she wrote the article, more T-shirts with Obama's face on them than Tony Montana's.
Yeah, and this is why I think it's probably you said my generation, because I'm not sure a younger generation, yours and younger, would really... I don't think they would identify. If this movie was made today, I'm not sure younger generations would identify with him.
So I think my generation, the exennial and maybe the older millennials, had a habit of adopting cultural icons before we fucking understood thing one about them. So you had a lot of people with Che Guevara and Tony Montana T-shirts on that had no idea who those people were. Or Mao.
So Mao T-shirts, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
I think the Zennials and like the Gen Zs are actually better about it than we were, because they're like, I don't know that, I'm not putting it on my body, and then they look into it and they're like, fuck, I'm not putting it on my body, and I'm going to write a Tumblr post about it.
And also, they, unlike us, or at least in your younger years and me in my older years, they didn't have, they now have, rather, a machine that they can look on their phones. Rather, the machine is in their pockets, and the phone, they can look up, oh, let me see who this person is. Whoa, this dude's an asshole. I'm not putting that on my chest.
Talking about our generation. Your turn.
Can you explain to me why, in the scene when Tony does the drug deal and the guys get chopped up with a chainsaw, if the guys are planning to rob them, why did they bring the cocaine?
On the off chance that this was going to go very, very smoothly and they were going to chicken out themselves. Because Tony didn't bring the money in with him. Right. So, I'm not actually sure they were going to get robbed until Tony was like, I didn't bring the money in because I don't trust you, motherfucker. Because they brought the cocaine. Like, they actually... I think they may have actually been on the level, maybe a little overprotected, what with the girl watching TV and a fucking shotgun under her. And maybe it's a little weird that they had a chainsaw in such a small apartment for reasons. Like, this was something they planned on doing. Yeah,
100% they clearly planned. So again, why bring the cocaine?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, rob them.
To use.
Oh, later? Could have left it at home.
I mean, they're probably using it then. People who are coked up make decisions like that.
I get maybe that's it. Maybe they were all high as fuck. In the climax, Tony uses an M16 with an attached M203 grenade launcher. That's where you get the line, say hello to my little friend. My question is, why would a device like that exist? It's like something a 12-year-old would design. Like, it would have lasers, and it would blow things up, and it would, like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, what the hell?
Why do guns exist?
To kill people.
Okay. Why do grenades exist?
To kill people.
Okay. If you can make a gun that can shoot a lot of bullets very fast, but also launch grenades, isn't that a good thing for killing people?
If
this documentary that we just watched is to be believed, it is a very efficient way to kill people. He wipes out almost all of the assassins single-handedly with that thing.
Yeah, it's curious that just one guy manages to get to them as opposed to a whole bunch of them. Yeah, but if I might use the phrase, it just seems like overkill. Like, why did I design with so much? That's a lot. Who was that planned for?
There's no such thing as overkill. There's no such thing as overkill. There's just kill. Not. And if you can guarantee the kill, that's better.
I guess so. Are you familiar with this? Was this made just for the movie, or do you know if that weapon actually exists?
M16s were real. M203 grenade launchers were real. If you could weld one to the other, I don't see why it wouldn't exist.
Yes. Didn't something like that get overheated, or am I just wrong?
What would the overheat come from?
From the grenade launcher. And then you shoot...
Why would a grenade launcher overheat your gun?
Well, maybe not. I don't know.
Where is the grenade exploding?
No, not in the gun, obviously. But I'm just saying, I don't know, it just seems like it would get really hot. Maybe not. I guess not. I don't know guns.
I mean, we saw in whatchamacallit, Dr. Strangelove, right? The belt-fed fucking anti-aircraft gun. Those things would overheat because they're sending very large rounds under a lot of power, and they need a cooldown cycle. Handheld machine guns like that don't overheat as much.
Okay. What had you heard about this movie before you saw it? And why do you think it appeals to so many young men? We're discussing.
My brain so I have never seen The Godfather.
Me neither.
My brain thought this and The Godfather were the same fucking thing.
Ooh, don't say that to any cinephile. They'll kill you.
They should. I do a movie review podcast, and my brain thought Scarface and The Godfather were the same fucking thing.
Well, to be fair, it does both have Al Pacino in them.
I didn't even know that fact.
Oh! Should have said that. You got you off the hook. I didn't see either one, but...
I did just say it. That we do a podcast. Everything I'm saying, they'll hear. As long as they don't kill me after they hear the first thing, and as long as they wait and hear the second thing.
Right.
Oh, why do I think it appeals to so many young men? Because fucking testosterone.
So is that damn dirty testosterone. It's our downfall.
Yep.
Should this movie really have been 3 hours long?
Oh, fuck no. Holy shit, no. So many padded scenes in this fucking thing. So many, what'd you say? What? What'd you say? What? This movie could have been 2 minutes long. Just two.
Yeah, it is entirely too long. It's not necessary for it to be long. And as I said, the original was 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So where did the extra 90 minutes come from? And they have plenty of shooting in that one, too. I don't know. It's too entirely. Someone just overindulged. Entirely overindulged. Brian De Palma went hog wild. I can do everything here. What do you think of what do you make of the treatment of women in this movie?
I mean, I think it tracks for the way women are treated often. I think it might be one of the most realistic aspects of this movie.
Really?
Unfortunately. They're treated like property to be owned and traded at will.
Except that they seem, especially the Michelle Pfeiffer's character, seems to just go along with it. I mean, she has no inner life.
Yeah.
I don't know why she agrees to any of this.
She's internalized it. Until she doesn't. Until she fucks off out of the movie.
Yeah. So I don't know how to this picture.
And smartest fucking character in the movie.
Yeah, she's not there for the shooting.
Yep.
She managed to avoid getting shot. All right, my friend. Let's get into it. Does this still work?
No. I'm calling foul on the putting the disclaimer, the we're not really racist disclaimer at the end of the credits after a 3-hour movie. That doesn't...
Pretty clearly an executive at the studio probably said, oh, we got to put this in here. And he's like, all right, fine, I'll put it at the end.
Fine, I'll put it where nobody's going to read it. Nobody. Except exactly. George and Joe when they do a podcast episode on it. Like, it puts forth this really despicable stereotype of Cuban people. And...
Or just immigrants in general.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's 3 fucking unnecessary hours long. And it had the record at the time of most, like, a fucks per... Like, 1.25 fucks per minute.
I forgot that was a stat for this film. That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm you know, I say it plenty on this podcast. Nowhere near once a minute.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I don't think it works. I think it's dated poorly. It's very much an 80s movie, 100%. Just the look of it is very 80s. We had mentioned before about Little Miss Sunshine, how something was 20 years ago and it still seems very relevant and fresh. This ain't it. This is not relevant and fresh. Number one, our crime rates are much lower than they were in the 80s. Number two, many Cuban-Americans would be asking for a martial law. Maybe as fash. I mean, a lot of them are Trump supporters, so not the best. I'm like, weirdly, and I'm sure there's probably been a study on this. I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent before I go back to talking about the film. There is very curious thing among, I mean, I understand, obviously, they're different cultures. Just because they all speak Spanish doesn't make them the same thing. But it's interesting that Cubans tend to be I think it's because a lot of them were anti-communists when they came over. But they tend to be more conservative, whereas if they come from Puerto Rico, if you're Hispanic and you come from Puerto Rico or from Mexico, much more liberal. Mm-hmm. Much more likely to be progressive. So I that's interesting. But to know. But as I said, it's different cultures, different, of course, different histories. Why wouldn't they be different? But yeah, I don't think this film works at all. I don't think the performances are better than the original Scarface. I'll give it that.
Like, the problems weren't the acting in the movie.
No.
Except maybe the use of, like, brown accent.
Yeah.
Or something. Which even Cubans were like, that's fucking stupid. But despite the decent acting, I couldn't fucking care about anybody. I couldn't wait for this movie to be over. And it was 3 hours long. So, like, I couldn't care. This story did not pull me in at all. Like, I couldn't care about anything in it, which means it feels like a waste of time. The best thing about this movie is the fact that it ended and we're doing a podcast episode on it.
I just want to be clear. I do not have to like the characters to enjoy a movie. I don't even have to think the characters are real for me to enjoy the movie. God knows. I mean, the Adam Sandler, who's the characters there? Some of these pictures, some we hated, but some I thought was very fun. What is it? Madison, whatever, that one where he's the golf
Happy
thing?
Gilmore?
Happy Gilmore. Sorry, I can't tell these pictures apart. But anyway, I really enjoyed that. Did I care about the character? No, I didn't care, but it was funny. Or David Lynch. I really enjoyed David Lynch. George hates David Lynch for this, but I enjoy them. But are they real characters in there? No, but it's enjoyable. I can be entertained even if I don't care about the characters. That's fine.
It's not entertained.
But I am entertained. But I can't have it where I'm neither entertained nor am I brought into the characters. I need something. You gotta give me something. This picture isn't giving me anything other than boredom. Like, it make me think, why is this goddamn 3 hours? Why are you doing this to us? What is the point? All right, I think we've gotten our point across. So, George, what's up next?
Next week, we will be tearing apart Sweet November from 2001.
Well, you may be. I've never seen this movie. I may love it.
You're going to tear it apart. You're going to hate this movie. I saw it and I liked it for a minute. And the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, what? No. Oh, God. I hope I do a podcast in 20 years and we can tear this thing to shreds.
In what context did you see this? Was it a date or were we just going to the movies on your own?
I don't remember. Huh. Probably a date. I didn't often go to I don't think I've ever, maybe once. I may have once gone to the movies by myself.
I have never heard of this movie, which surprises me. This is one of the few times where you've seen a picture I've never heard of.
Keanu Reeves and Charlize Theron.
Yep. No, I don't.
It's going to be a pretty short cast list, too.
Oh, good. But I don't know this picture at all. Never heard of it. Not familiar with it. I thought it was a romantic comedy. You were correcting me. Apparently, it's a romantic comedy.
I mean, it might be. It might be supposed to be, but I don't think it's terribly funny.
Well, it's not. I just looked it up, and it was listed as a drama, so
okay.
It's not a romantic comedy.
At least it's not lying.
I have no idea. I just well, that's the whole point. So let's see when we watch it and what I think and what you think and whether you rip it apart or not. Or maybe I'll love it. Maybe I'll think so. This is George, you're crazy. I should do that just to drive you crazy. I pretend to like it just to make you upset. Just my own entertainment.
Joe, my favorite moments on this podcast are where you haven't seen a movie and then enjoy it. Like I love watching you happy and in the afterglow of enjoying me.
Liked though. It's usually a film you liked already. You're just happy that I liked it. I don't think I've ever liked a film that you disliked.
And who knows? Maybe maybe I'm misremembering it and I'll like it too.
Maybe you like it.
Who knows?
Hey everybody, it's a cliffhanger. Who knows how we'll feel about Sweet November? Have you heard of this picture? Anyway, I guess that's it for this episode. I'm Joe Dixon. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening indeed, because if a podcast drops and there's nobody around to hear it, it's just another collection of ones and zeros that doesn't matter.
You've been listening to Does This Still Work? Produced by Joe Dixon and George Ramacca.
This content is CAN credentialed, which means you can report instances of harassment, abuse, or other harm on their hotline at 617-249-4255 or on their website at creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org.
The hosts can be reached via social media, email, or the contact page at dtswpod.com. Be good to yourself and others, because that still works.
Why do you think Tony Montana? Why do you think? Period.
Know.
End of question. From No Stupid Questions. How do I convince my dog that I'm spanking my wife consensually? Here's a stupid one.
Alrighty.
How is it legal to charge men, especially young ones, more for car insurance? Alright, from Random Question. What habit did you unknowingly inherit from your parents? Back to No Stupid Questions. Domino's, Papa John's, and Pizza Hut are all struggling. Any theories why? From Stupid Questions. Why can't scientists find a way to extract the oxygen in water while diving to have infinite oxygen? And finally, Random Questions. What is something you had to learn the hard way?